All right. So, good morning to everyone that is, watching us. This is Century 21 Alliance Realty. I'm Doug Ramos. This is one again. We are talking to Gavi Sandoval, correct?
Yeah.
Uh, we're talking about to Gavi about real estate, and we're bringing you topics and things that most of you have been asking and calling me or sending me messages and that you want to find out. So, Gabi, what do we have for today? What questions do we have today that we can talk about?
Yeah. So just to kind of lead into it, my first question is, are all leads the same?
Are all these the same? No, they're not. They're not. And that's one of the things that if you want to be a successful real estate agent, if you want to be very productive and succeed in this business, you need to early on learn to identify the leads and where the leads are coming from. I think in one of our previous messages we talked about how to track your leads, and you need to know where are the leads coming from. I'll tell you that with all the technology that we have available nowadays, one of the things that I've noticed is that, for example, you can capture leads from Facebook, Instagram. You can capture leads from a pay-per-click campaign. All those leads are different. They are in a different point or a different stage where they're may not be ready to purchase a home right now. Some of them are a little longer than than others. So you need to learn to identify where are they coming from and where in their stage they are. And this is not something new. This is not something that is just happening because technology. I mean, we had these before. I've been in the business for a long time, and I can tell you that even when we did open houses, which was one of the ways of obtaining leads, and it still is, we had what we call, people that were just looking. They were not just looking; they're at a different point in their life where they're just probably starting the process, and you need to be able to understand that, categorize them, and basically nurture and help them understand the process because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for information, looking for someone who is going to help them on the process and to understand the process. And then you have the leads that are ready, they have been with you for a while, and they're maybe ready in the next 30 to 60 days to pull the trigger. Those are different. So you got to treat them different. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So my next question is a lead no matter what?
It's a lead no matter what. No, they're not all of them are leads, and you gotta, that's basically the job of a real estate agent. And in today's environment, I see some agents delegating or sending these out to third-party companies. They are calling their leads or texting your leads. I'm old school, so we teach our agents here on how to do that so they don't have to send it to a third party company. If you want to do the third party company, be my guest, but you want to learn how to do it. You want to learn the basics of it. Once you master it and you don't have any more time in your daily life to be able to do it, then you may want to start learning how to delegate that to third party companies. But no, not all leads are leads. Some of them are leads that are not going to go anywhere. So you need to learn how to separate them. And, we always said you got to have, the different buckets where you put or the different segments where you put these people. Depending on what their needs are, depending on where in the process they are, that's how you're going to categorize them as lead A, which is hot lead, someone who's ready to pull the trigger in the next 30 days or less. And then you have your B lead, someone who is going to take longer than 90 days, we're like kind of warm. And then you have your C leads, which are longer than 90 days, 6 months. And then you have the leads that are from internet, Facebook and Instagram. They may take a little longer. You may find ones that are ready to act quickly, but for the most part, everybody, basically coincides with the fact that those takes usually much longer. Usually, typically, they take between 12 to 18 months to convert. So not all leads are leads. So you have to make sure. And I think one of the greatest coaches in the real estate industry, which is Mike Ferry, says a lead is someone who's really ready to pull the trigger in the next 30 to 60 days. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So my last question is, how can I better track my conversion rate?
Well, first you have to start tracking it. And how can you better track it? There's many different ways, but the simplest way or the easiest way that you have to do is, or that you can do, is basically creating a spreadsheet where you're tracking the conversations that you're having with them, and you're tracking your leads. In our office here, we provide our agents with all the different tools that they can use to do that. From a CRM that it's an online CRM that they can access anywhere, to a simple spreadsheet that is going to tell you the conversations that you're having with your prospective clients, and start looking at how many leads are you getting, from where you're receiving them, and that lead actually converted into a client or not, and then start looking at the ratios that you're going to have, and that's how you're going to track your conversion. The other thing that I'm doing with the agents here in the office, which I strongly recommend with other agents, is start recording your conversation and start tracking it, for your own good, for your own purpose, so that you'll learn and understand what are you doing or what are you saying. Maybe your conversion ratio could improve if you understand the tonality and the delivery of the message, because maybe you're saying the right thing, maybe you are using a script, and maybe you're saying the right thing, but the tonality and the delivery of the message it's a little bit off. By having ways to learn to record it, or for having ways to track it, you're going to improve your conversion ratio that way. So does that answer your question?
Yes. And that was my last question. I thank you so much for your time, as always. Thank you so much for taking your time to answer these.
Well, thank you so much for doing the time to be with us, and for all our viewers out there. This has been another recording from Century 21 Alliance Realty, where we are passionate about your success.